What's up, y'all? This is 10X Generation, and this is my road to $1 billion. So today was a very interesting day because I finally got my car. If you're following along, you know I've been juggling with this idea of getting a car and some sort of vehicle transport for a while, and I finally got it. I went to the dealership. I was there pretty much all day, and I finally got the car. I was able to drive it around. It was cool. Got a brand new car. A Honda Accord, nice reliable car, but I can't say that I feel good, and I can't say I feel happy about this purchase or this decision. When I walked out the dealership, I thought I had a certain idea of what I was paying and how long and the interest rate and all that stuff. Only when I opened it up and actually go through it, I saw that it was a little bit more or different than what I thought it was. It was different. Different. I wanted my hard line. The full story, what happened yesterday. They were giving me some ridiculous price, almost $800 a month, for several months. Probably like, I don't know, it was an insane amount of a month. It was like it was either 50 something or 60 or 70. It was quite a few months, over several years, let's just say that, right? And that's too much because I don't want to be dipping into the business funds for personal reasons like this more than necessary. I really don't. So I want to keep it as low as possible. So my hard line was $600 a month, and which isn't bad. And he called me earlier today and was like, "Hey, we got it to under 600." So went there, started talking, and everything seemed good and all that. But I don't know, maybe I just wasn't paying attention. Maybe it's because it's kind of a new environment that I'm not used to. I don't know what it is, or maybe because I'm rushing through this process. But I didn't realize how long the term was. I thought it was 36 months for 600, which would have been a bargain. But no, it's for much longer than that. It's about 75 months. So I'm paying a lot of money. If you do that math, that's a lot of money for that car, way more. And the reason why it's so big, well, so much more, it's literally almost 100% more, almost double the price. And the reason for that is because my credit. I am a young male with no car payment history. So when I take a loan, they're going to charge me a lot of interest on top of it. It's called APR. And mine was about 17%. 17%. And what that means is that every single year I get charged an additional 17% on that initial loan. And I'm assuming it's compound, and it's probably like continuously. So of course they don't mark the stamp at the end of the year. It's throughout the entire thing. It's building upon itself. So it gets pretty expensive after 6 years, right? Now, of course, I didn't feel very happy about this or comfortable, but I've already signed everything, signed the loans, everything's signed. So I'm not really gonna go back. And there's a couple things think about what I should have done and reasons why I didn't do it. And I don't know if there were good reasons or not, but a lot of first thing, I should have got a used car, a much older car. But the car that I got was the cheapest car, right? The cheapest car, in that the cheapest car, and it was new. And they also had used cars, but the thing about used cars is that they're not significantly cheaper, but they come with more like hardware issues. So that's what the guys were saying. That's what I heard. It's like, hey, you might as well get a new car because the old cars, it's old, number one. It can be harder to sell. Number two, and the price difference isn't that great. So, especially for something like a Honda. So, you don't want to do that. But then also the fact of you driving off the lot is supposed to decrease the car value by 20%. It's like, are those are incompatible. Something's, so all this is floating around in my head. Second thing, so that's the reason why I didn't want to get a new car or a used car. Second thing, in terms of refinancing, there are some options that I can do, and they're all not super appealing, but I gotta pick the one that best serves my interest. So the first one is, instead of paying the scheduled amount, right, the $600 so a month for these several years, instead of doing that, after about a year, I refinance. Because after a year, I have established my credit history. I have shown that I can pay things on time, and I have a car payment history. So I can refinance and get that interest rate lower. I don't know how much lower. It's not going to be like 1%. It's not going to be 2%. It's probably going to be like 10% or something. But I keep doing that, and I'll be paying, at the end of the day, a much lower amount. And yeah, I could do that. That's an option, right? And keeping the same payment amount per month, right? That's the first thing I could do. Second thing I could do is increase the amount I'm paying myself, right? Increase the amount I'm paying myself to pay off this entire car in a year. That's something I can also do. Pay off this entire thing in a year, so I'm only paying the 17% once. Paying the additional 17% once. But the reason I don't like doing that, I don't like the idea of that, is because really what it's doing is just siphoning the money from that's allocated for my business and using that to pay for my personal things, which is not the goal of the business and not the purpose of the funds. The purpose of the funds is to grow the business. So of course I gotta live, I gotta be able to eat, I gotta be able to exist. So paying myself those, like a living wage, is okay, which I think I'm paying myself a very fair amount. Like, it's barely over minimum wage. Even though I'm working on it full time and all that stuff. So it's barely over minimum wage. But if I increase it too much more for these reasons, it kind of messes that up. That's the first thing. And the second thing, it also, every time I pay myself, the government comes in and takes a whole bunch of it, right? So I can't just take the money from my business account and put it into my personal account. That's just a big no-no. Good way to get audited. Got to keep business funds and personal funds separate. I have different cards, different bank accounts, different debit cards, credit cards, all that stuff. It's all separate. So when I pay myself, I have to pay myself normally, as if it's a separate entity, and the government comes in and takes a lot of it due to the employment taxes and tax withholding and all this other nonsense. So I don't want to pay myself a bunch more, because that means less of the money, more of the money goes to the government, which isn't me or the business. So I definitely don't want to do that. So if I expedite this process of paying off this car really quickly, what it does is, instead of me spreading out the amount that I'm paying over 5-6 years, I'm doing it in 1 year. And let's do some just very quick math, or just dirty math. So of course, if I'm paying more over those 6 years, I'm going to be paying the government a good amount. I'm going to be paying myself a good amount. I'm going to be paying the government a good amount. I'm going to be paying myself a good amount for the car, right? If I pay it in a short period of time, the rate at which the government gets paid is fixed. But I'm paying more for the car, or not paying more for the car, but like I'm paying less for the car, but it's more more concentrated. I'm gonna have to pay like 2,700 bucks. 2,700 bucks every single month. Doesn't that sound crazy? 2,700 bucks for a year consistently. And the government, in order to get that payment, I gotta tack on an additional. That's with that's with about 20%, 20, almost 30% taken out. So every single month, I have to be paying myself more than that, a good chunk more than that, in addition to living expenses and so on and so forth. So that's going to be a lot of money going straight to that car. I don't know. It's kind of late right now. I'm usually not up at this time. I can't even say that anymore. I've just been staying up real late consistently. I guess I could say I stay up late now. But I am not in the mental state to do this right now. So I'm going to do it tomorrow, and I'm going to sleep on it. It's good to sleep on decisions like this, but I don't really know which one I should do. Pay off the car as soon as possible, pay a lesser amount, but siphon a huge amount from my personal bank account and, of course, the business account, because that's what I'm paying myself from, by through salary. In a very short period of time. That's not really aiding the business. My goal is to grow this business and use the business funds to accelerate it. I'm not yet at the acceleration phase. I'm still in the development phase. Acceleration, optimization. Those are the two phases I would need to use this money for. And I'm not there yet. I'm almost there. I'm not there yet. So giving myself more runway, more time makes more sense. That's the first thing I could do. Or the second thing, I spread it out, spread out this payment for 6 years, pay a very low amount every single month. A lot of the money stays inside the business bank account. I can establish my credit slowly establish my credit, go at a comfortable pace, refinance to get the interest rate lower, get the interest rate lower, and the interest rate lower, and then but pay a significantly higher price than the original. Which one's better? What are my objectives? My number one objective is getting to $1 billion. My road to $1 billion. My goal isn't to pay off a car. That's not my goal. My goal isn't to pay off my car. My goal is to build $1 billion business. So if we look at it from that lens, the best decision is, of course, spread out. Spread it out. $600 a month. Do that for 6 years. Probably, it's going to be less than 6 years, of course, because I'm going to refinance. And maybe I could trade in the car at some point and do whatever, right? But I have more money for my business. Primary. Second thing, the other option, at some point in a year, I can guarantee that, what is it? Probably like $30,000 or so dollars will be empty out of my bank account and will materialize, probably more than that, materialize in front of me as a car that I own. Congrats, I have a car that I own. Not my goal. Not my goal. So, I don't know. Of course, I'm just rambling at this point. It's late. I wonder how many people are even still watching. But yeah. But enough of that. I'll talk about that more after I sleep on it. In terms of the business, the stuff that I got done, I didn't get as much as I wanted to get done today. All I was able to do now was fully implement the SQL tables. So it's there, it's in the database. Everything's made, all the connections are made, everything is good. And I got started with the Lambda functions. So I can actually call it, and that's going to take a little bit more time, but luckily tomorrow I am not doing anything. My schedule is clear. No one's going to call me and say, hey, blah, 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 blah. No, I could work on it all day, so there's absolutely no excuse for me not to get that done tomorrow. So, since today wasn't super productive in terms of my schedule, I'm going to compress it, and tomorrow I'm going to do the Discord bot and the Lambda functions. So, yeah, so by Friday, we can begin building the Discord server, the actual server, and making tutorials and testing and documentation, and Saturday will be the landing page. So for marketing, for legitimizing purposes, I'll have a landing page made, get that done, and then Sunday I'll do additional testing, and then Monday I'll be ready for beta test or alpha test 1. So that's my schedule. That's my plan. I hope you guys enjoyed my rambling. I'm sorry today wasn't as peppy, as energetic, but hopefully maybe you learned something. And maybe this is inspiring. I don't know, but thank you all so much. I do this every single day. So if you like this, like, comment, and subscribe. Share with a friend maybe. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.